That doesn't happen, I don't think. That's the second volume? Okay. Okay, we were in the middle of a shaila yesterday, guys. Very interesting with the following. We said that a person went ahead and he was Makabel Naziris in a Beis HaKvaris. He's Makabel Naziris in a Beis HaKvaris. So everyone held that his Naziris doesn't begin. And when he goes ahead and comes out, as a result of his Naziris not beginning, he does not have to bring the Karbanis Tumah. Again, usually there's two parshas in the Torah of Nazir. There's Nazir Taira and Nazir Tumah. Nazir Tumah is, the halacha is that he's Metamet Mace. It overrides his Naziris. In other words, whatever days he's counted are gone. And he has to bring 3 karbanis. He brings 2 birds. One is a chatas, one is an oil, and one a kevis as an asham, an ayil, as an asham. And he gets his haircut. I mean, he cuts. That's the tiglachas tumah. It's called tiglachas tumah. He gets his haircut, and then he begins anew. Okay. So the question is there Naziris there or not? Okay. So Rabbi Yochanan said there was, and Reish Lakish says there wasn't. So like Rabbi Yochanan, you would get malchus for drinking wine, you would get malchus for cutting your hair, and you would even get malchus for staying in the cemetery. You'd have to get out. You'd have to get out of the cemetery. And when you clean yourself up, meaning you wait your 7 days, you don't bring karbanis, you wait your 7 days, you would not have to go ahead and be makabel naziris again. However, like Reish Lakish, you'd have to be makabel and naziris. Why? Because you never were a naz in the first place. Those were the two shittas. We're questioning Reish Lakish. In the end of today's daf, on the Amid Aleph, we're going to tiyufta, we're going to slug up Reish Lakish. So says the Gemara, we're at the top of Yud Zayin Amid Aleph. The top of Yud Zayin Amid Aleph, top line, the last word on the line, Esavei. Ein bein tamei shenazir. There's no difference between a person that's tamei who's makabel naziris. That's our case, guys. That's our case. That's the nazir in the Beis HaKvaris. Nazir tahar, to a nazir that is tahar shenitma. In other words, so they're both nazirim l'chayra, and they're both in a state of tama. Elatame shenaza, a tame that became a nazir. Shvi shelo olalo leminyan. His 7th day, which is the last day where he had spritzed upon him paraduma water, and he went to the mikvah. It's oila what as the first day of the counting of his naziris. Good, guys, you hear? The 7th day. What is he doing? He's clearing up the tumah of tumas mace. He's clearing up the tumah of tumas mace, and on that day he gets spritz 3 and 7, goes to the mikvah. That day he'll begin becoming a naz. Now, obviously, this is a question on Reish Lakish, fellas. If he was tamei and he was makabel naziris, how can it be the first day of your naziris when you weren't a nazir in the first place? That's going to be the kasha. You mean you're counting that day as cleaning up for your tumah, and it's the first day of your naziris. He's not a nazir. What do you mean the first day of naziris? That's going to be the kasha. Good. That's going to be the kasha. Now however, nazir tahar shenitma, a nazir that is tahar who became tamei, ein shvi shaloi oiloloi leminyan. Day 7 does not count for his first day. Guys, what's the difference? The nazir, guys, look, the nazir that's tamei and accepts naziris, he doesn't bring karbanis. So therefore, the 7th day can count as his first day. The nazir who was tahar, who became tamei, he's got to bring the 3 karbanis on day 8. So obviously, day 1 can't count as his first day of naziris because he has to finish up his karbanis first tumah. Good. Okay. Where's the kasha? Very geschmack. If you're going to tell me, if you're going to tell me the naziris is not chal, my oil like million. Why is the 7th day the first day of his counting? He's not a nazir. Okay. Amma ma baravashi. So because it is kasha, we're going to go ahead and reinterpret Reish Lakish, guys. Because it is kasha, we're going to reinterpret Reish Lakish. How so? Meichal, becoming a nazir when you're tamei kuli amalei pligi dechayla. You will be a nazir, guys. You will be a nazir, no question about it. Even Reish Lakish says you'll be a nazir. Elaki pligi What's the machlokes? Lemilki, whether you'll get malchus for tuma. Guys, if you're a nazir, even Reish Lakish would be mighty you get malchus for haircut and wine. Guys, listen up. Even Reish Lakish would be mighty you would get malchus for haircut and wine. So I'm a nazir, I'm a Ves Kavaris, I'm a Kabul Naziris. If I drink wine or I cut my hair, everyone has to get malchus. The nafkamina is le'inyan tuma. The nafkamina is le'inyan tuma. Do we say what? That, oh, I'm Tomei and it's still I'm for the Nazir? Or no, do we say that what? That no, that you're not. Says that's the machlokes. Keep legal milky. Rabbi Yochanan Savar, Kiv in the Chayil, since the Nazir is a schal lucky, meaning across the board, you get malchus even for Tuma. Reish Lakish Savar loy lucky, right? Loy lucky, you won't get malchus. The chayla and the nazir is the schal. Okay, let's see Taisus here. Taisus, beautiful Taisus, guys. The first Haggah, not the second Haggah, the first Haggah. It says, Meichal kuliyama de chayil, ulechishi taher, and when you become tahar, ain't tzarich lachzer lida bin nazir. You don't have to go in and make a new kabbalah. The chayla love naziris rishon. It's the chal already. V'nicha hashta the shvi oilaloi min aminyan. And now you understand why the seventh day counts as the first day, because you were Nazir, even according to Reish Lakish. And even if you don't go back and make a new Kabbalah, because you were Nazir all along. Again, until now we thought you had to make a new Kabbalah like Reish Lakish, correct? But now there's no new Kabbalah, right? There's no need. The lucky toichi de tumasai on what? You would get malchus, Taisa says, on wine and haircut. You would. In other words, when the Gemara said lilki, it only meant tuma. Why? The chi pligi milky pirish atuma. When the Gemara said you get malchus, all machlokes guys is whether you get malchus for being tamei. L'chud. Ihisuba atuma. If you gave him asra. Rabbi Yochanan Saba, here's the svara. Kim in the chayla naziris l'sharmili ashtriyay miteglachas chal nami atuma im hisuba alatseis layatza. Okay, pirish guys. Once you chal, there's no splitting hairs over here. Once it's chal for what? For your nazal Indian haircut and your nazal Indian wine, who adin you'll be a nazal Indian tuma, right? And if they give you hasra and you don't leave the cemetery, you'll get malchus. The rachmana loymiyata elimi karbin l'chudei l'kamon loymi malchus the tuma. Pirish, guys, outside. We're going along now with this premise. We didn't say the reason. What's the difference between a nazir that's makabelis naziris betuma and a nazir that's makabelis naziris betaira? The difference is whether you have to bring kabbanis or not, right? Good, that's what we said. So a nazir that's makabelis betuma does not bring kabbanis. Yes, that's given. It's a pasuk. Now, I would think if I don't bring a korban for tuma, so I wouldn't get malchus for tumah. If I'm not being, in other words, if I'm not being a korban for tumah, so Rabbi Yochanan says the miyat of the Torah that says you don't bring a korban for being makabel on your tumah is limited to the korban. It does not extend to the lav of what? Of getting malchus, and therefore you get malchus. If I wake you up in the middle of the night and you say, guy's a nazir, you'd say he's a nazir, right? That's it. No ifs, ands, and buts. He's a nazir, his tummy brings a carbon. You needed a pasuk to tell me he doesn't bring a carbon. You needed a pasuk to tell me he doesn't bring a carbon. Good? Very good. To what extent do we extend that pasuk to? To what extent do we extend that pasuk to? Do we extend it even to give him malchus for his tumah? Again, he's in a state of tumah. You can give him malchus. In other words, I'm in a cemetery, I'm tamei. Get out of the cemetery. If you don't get out of the cemetery, look quick, you get malchus. It's a chiddush nifla. But guess what? Says Rabbi Yochanan, you do. You get malchus. Because again, the mir of the pasuk is limited to the carbon. Reish Lakish says no, it extended, and that's what that's what Taisa says now. Reish Lakish savar afagav dechayil l'sharmili right liyayin l'teglachas, even though it's the naziris ischal l'inyan yayin and taking a haircut. Le'loki atuma. You're not going to get a malchus for tuma. The kivin the mir to rachmana me carbon tuma. Right? Miyatan Mikol din tuma af malchus. In other words, it's not only taking you out of the carbon tuma, it's taking you out of the parsha of tuma. But mainly you won't even get what? Malchus for. Okay, so let's go outside, guys, outside. Again, you don't have anything. I mean, there's no lav. If you have lav, you get malchus.
Got rid of it. Like same thing like they're like bring Shabbos, right?
You're not allowed to be there. If
Okay.
you're in the base of ministry, you have to get out.
But if you won't get, so you want to learn, you have to get out, but you won't get Malchus. I hear that. I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure. I hear that. I hear that. Okay, but
just stood and then moved, right?
What?
I didn't
they
move.
warned you. You're gonna again.
I didn't move.
But
I never
but
tried to
Hasra is to give you a punishment. So, again, so let's go through the study. Okay, let's go. We began this year with the concept that Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, they're arguing whether there's Naziris at all for a Nazir in the Beis HaKfaris. Said Rabbi Yochanan yes, said Reish Lakish no. We thought that meant what? We thought that like Reish Lakish is zero, nothing, garnishment, garnish. We came along and we got a problem. We said the only distinction between the two is that whether you're being the carbon or not. Which means and the nafkamina of whether you're being the carbon or not, whether day 7 counts or not. Guys, it's Chava Hatalia, you understand? It said the day 7 counts as the last day of Tumas Mace and the first day of Naziris. It doesn't say anything about a carbon. I'm telling you, the underpining of that is the fact that since I don't bring a carbon the next day, I could start my Naziris the day before. What's the Rabbi Yochanan, who's the Nazir Tahar, who became Tameh, he can't die day 7 because he's got to bring a carbon on day 8. So obviously day 7 can't be the beginning of his Naziris if he didn't finish up his Tumah. In other words, that's the underlying factor over here. Okay, so that kasha destroyed the idea that Reish Lakish does not hold of it at all. So what does he hold? It's takachal. But if they both hold it schal, so therefore day 7 would count. Day 7 would count because I'm a Nazir, right? And it would be oila. The nafkamina would be if you get malchus for what? If you get malchus for tumah or not. It seems everyone would agree you get malchus for what? Wine, guys, and malchus for haircut. You know why? There's no pasuk to tell me not. I got to be a nuzzling in something, right? I got to be a nuzzling in something. So what's that something? The something is that why if I drink wine, everyone would hold that. Take a haircut, everyone would hold that. Where's the machlokes by Tumah? What's the machlokes contingent upon? The pasuk that goes ahead and says that a nazir that was makabel as Aziris B'tumah doesn't bring a carbon. Says Rabbi Yochanan, he doesn't bring a carbon, would he get malchus? Because he's a nazir after all. And Reish Lakish says, no, he doesn't bring a carbon, meaning he's totally removed from the whole parsha of Tumah, even the Indian malchus. That's what we're holding right now. Good, Baruch Hashem. Says the Gemara Vayta. Eisvei Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Misha Nazir v'hu b'beis hakfaris. He's a nazir. Dover about 8 lines down in Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. Eisvei Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Misha Nazir v'hu b'beis hakfaris. Guy he becomes a nazir. Misha Nazir means he's not nazir, that he's a nazir in the beis hakfaris. And nazar, he goes ahead and is makabel naziris in the beis hakfaris. Afilu hoyu sham shleishim yoim. Even if he waited out there 30 days, ain't loyal limit minyan doesn't the counting begin, and therefore ain't maybe carbon tumah. And that doesn't mean a carbon tumah. Carbon tumah who delay my see doesn't mean a carbon tumah. Okay, Allah, but he would get malchus. Kasha on Reish Lakish. Says the Gemara, but the listing nami ain't like it. Learn ain't like it. Don't limit it to go. He doesn't mean carbon. Learn ain't like it. So why did you not learn ain't like it? Why'd you learn right? Why'd you learn that the lashon of he doesn't mean a carbon? Maybe carbon, since the seif of our Mishnah stated if he goes out, cleans himself off for 7 days and goes back in, so now he's a nasa tahar that became tameh, or maybe carbon tuma, tanaresha any maybe carbon tuma. So for symmetry, but not for radiak. For symmetry, guys, ain't a maybe carbon, but not to say he would get malchus. Simply what ain't a maybe carbon because in the sefer he does bring a carbon. Okay, tashma. Ein bein tameh shenazir. There's no difference between a nazir that was tameh, that's what we need, shenazir that became a nazir, lenazir tahar to a full-fledged health, pure nazir, shenitma that contracted tama, el shetame shenazir, she shaloi oilaloi min minyan, it counts from the minyan, the nazir tahar shenitma, ein shvi shaloi oilaloi min minyan, mashma holim malchus, zev is a shava, fellas. You're telling me in the Havamina, guys, you're telling me, guys, look at me. You're telling me in the Havamina The only distinction between the two is whether you count day 7 as day 1 or not. But according to Reish Lakish, there's another nafkamina. Like Reish Lakish, one of them gets malchus and the other one doesn't get malchus. So why is it limiting the Ein Bain to that? It's mashma, they both get malchus. Kasha on Reish Lakish, who says you don't get malchus. Good, that's the kasha. Says the Gemara, no kasha, I can escape that. Amalei loy the tiglachas zeves hashavim. Regarding haircuts, they're equal, meaning you would get malchus on haircuts. You would get malchus on haircuts, but einachinami for tuma you wouldn't get. Avalinya malchus mai zel loikav is einalaika so lisnaya. So if you're telling me one would get malchus and one wouldn't, why don't you go ahead right and say ein bain? That's the difference. In other words, you do have a difference now, right? Says the Gemara, bitakante komairi. When it says whether you bring a carbon or not a carbon, what does the carbon accomplish, guys? It cleans you up. It's a takana. But bikilkule, becoming getting punished for what? For malchus or not malchus, like kamari. So only speaking about a tikkun, we're not speaking about what the kilkul. But einachinami, you would not get malchus like Reish Lakish being tamei. So right now, Reish Lakish held serve. He's held serve. You takanaza, leyin tiglachas, leyin yayin. You would get malchus. Leyin being in a cemetery, being asked to go out. Rabbi Yochanan, if you hang around, you get malchus. Reish Lakish, you don't get malchus. He's held serve. The final slug up now. We're going to slug up Reish Lakish finally. We're going to slug him up. Tashma, Misha Yatame v'Nazir. Someone who is tamei, he's a v'Nazir, and he becomes a nazir in the state of tuma. Asa legaleach. It's asa to take a haircut. V'lishtash yayin. And drink wine, then gilach v'shasa yayin, and what, guys? The nitmo lemesim harezeh soifig esar boyim. You can't get more open than that. What does it say? You would get malchus for what? For tuma. You would get malchus for tuma. Tiyufta. This is an upshlag on Reish Lakish. This is an upshlag. So comes out of maskana. You are what? Full-fledged. Funny halacha. If you would ask me in Svara, I'd say, how could you be makabel in Naziris in the state of Tumah? And you see the koyach of a neder. You see the koyach of a. You see the koyach.
It's not column in the basic forest.
You would think that,
Right.
and it's not true. Adarabba, you are a full-fledged Nazir except for one thing. You can't be. You can't be. No, you can't be a carbon. You're Muslim in Tumah. You can't stay in that cemetery for a second. A guy would warn you. You get malchus for staying there. You have to run out.
For not doing an action, for not even moving.
So here's so Fred, I lav shem ma'isa. Lav shem ma'isa ain't like in a love.
Shatnez, you put on the shatnez. If this, you didn't
Okay,
put on-
let's see Taisus just the kasha. Let's see Taisus. The bottom line in Taisus over what? Look at the bottom line in Taisus. For lav high, you say Kabbalah? Okay, what's the mice over here? Not leaving.
Yeah, but that's what I said. But if he's staying still,
No. That you're getting malchus for not leaving. That's a Maisa.
But the movement is doing something that's
No,
No.
He's standing.
No, you understand. If I stay there, I get malchus.
I don't know.
I stay there.
Place is bigger than me.
Look, bottom Taisus.
I see what I said.
The last Taisus, it's the last line of the page. The last line of the page. Right. V'lav hai kalav shein b'maisa, b'masha mekabel naziris, the lav sheish b'maisa hu, b'masha ein yotze misham k'shenoida b'nazir. Right. It's considered a lav sheish b'maisa that he didn't leave. Sheni yotze, that he doesn't leave. Fascinating.
Going out is the Maisa. The going staying there is not the Maisa.
Okay. Anyway.
Moving, I understand. If you're moving in the
No, you understand. You understand. Your malchus is for your failure to leave. That not leaving is considered an action. An inaction is an action. That's good for the lav. That's good for the lav. No, it's sometimes the lav is doing something, right?
Go do something or else.
Right.
We didn't go do it.
You didn't do it, but once it's doing, it's a ma'isa. Once it's you are viewing mice in a physical sense, right? In your mind, that's you trying to get.
Like this the guy doesn't have an arla, right? He gets malchus every right. The guy doesn't have just mila, right? Same idea, right? He
Doesn't get malchus, gets cars.
cars. I'm sorry, cars. It's also this is a lot of Maisa, right?
What?
The cars.
What?
The mitzvah to do meal.
Yeah, but
Wait,
the fact
no.
that they didn't do anything.
No, the lav shein b'maisa means that there's no etzem lav itself. There's no mice. Like let's say a dibur. Let's say you have a dibur. How can you get malchus for saying edis? That's a lav shem b'maisa, right? That's a lav shem b'maisa. Nicer. How can you be chayiv for nicer? It's a lav shem b'maisa. So in Leikin, there's opinion of lav shenitak. That's the machloikas, the makas. Okay. Anyway, so we're good. We're good, guys. We're good. We got the summary. Okay. Some more interesting Gemara. I find this Gemara fascinating. I enjoy it very much. Again, not everyone is, but I am. Not okay. Boy, Rava. Nazir. Okay, let's take out the yud, right? Because right, he's not a Nazir. He's going to contract the who beis hakfaris mahu. Boy shehil malchus oiloi. Okay, guys, outside a little bit of information. You're a kohen. You go into the Beis Hamikdash. You're doing the avodah. You're squeaky clean. You're tar completely. Lo aleinu. You run into a sheretz, a dead mouse, and you touch it. Right? You're tamei. You're not allowed to be tamei in the azar. It's a chorus. What do you do? It's unanimous. What do? You get out as soon as possible. There's this man of shehiyah. This man of shehiyah called delaying. Is that limited to the parsha of kohen in the Beis Hamikdash, or it extends to the nazir in the cemetery if he delays in the cemetery? That's the shaila.
Or Sushtel that the Nazir has kedusha of Kohen.
Kohen Gadol, Tumah, right? Einachinami. That's part of the shaila. That's built into the shaila. Mahu boy shehila malchus oiloi hechidami ilemer da amrilei. If the guy says to him, "Leiti nazir, don't be a nazir," he doesn't say, "Don't be a nazir," right? So instantaneously, what does he do? Like a worse than one day. Anyway, right. Anyway, guys, he says the following: Domlei leiti nazir, do not become a nazir. You warn him, don't be a nazir. So lomali shehiyah, nazir. Why do you need shehiyah? In other words, right away he's chayiv. If he the guys, that act of being makabel naziris when you're in the cemetery, immediately you're tamei, right? So it says the Gemara, nazir tahar my time aloi boy shehiyah. So I think that the word is nazir tahar. Nazir tahar my time aloi boy shehiyah. The kamasri bay, because you warn him. In other words, you tell a guy, you're a nazir tahar, and you say don't become tamei, he becomes tamei, you get malchus. If you're a nazir, and you're makabel to right away. So that's not the shaila. So hachanabi kamasri bay amid beis ela kigoyin. What's it speaking about? Shenichnas b'shida table migdal. This person entered into the beis hakfaris in a box, some type of box that is an oihol that would be mafsik to tuma, as long as he doesn't remove the bottom floor. If the bottom floor is removed, then what? Then you have a problem because the tumah goes up. Ubochaveroi comes along his so-called friend. I'll say so-called friend. Upora me'elov me'aziva, and he goes ahead and he uncovers ma'aziva, literally the cement that's on the bottom, the covering on the bottom. Okay, so now what happened over here, guys? This is a direct analog to the kohen. When the kohen went in, was he tahar? When this potential nazir went in, was he tahar? Yeah, he was tahar, right? Now he's a nazir. Good, he's a nazir and he's in this box, so he's tahar. Kohen's a kohen, he's tahar. The kohen, an honest happened to the kohen. What's the honest that happened to the kohen? The sheretz. What's the honest happened to this guy? The guy, if he would do it, it's nishkain honest. If he would do it, it's not an honest. It's got to be his friend did it. So his friend now. So now it's the exact same tzushtel. Just like there, the kohen's got an exit stage left. For those who have bakiyim. So too what? So too he would have to go ahead and get out as soon as possible. He'd have to get as soon as possible. That's the tzushtel. That is the exact tzushtel. El kigon shenichnas b'shida table migdal ubo chavero upor me'alav me'aziva ki gemiri shehi bebeis hamikdash aval avoy outside the beis hamikdash loy aydum leishna. Maybe there's no difference. And what's the Gemara's answer? Take it remain the shaila till Elio comes along and answers it for us. But that's the exact sushta. More Torah. Boy Ravashi. Nazir v'hu b'beis hakfaris. In that case, toyin giluach oiloi. Okay, let's see Rashi. Says Rashi. Let's see Taisvis. Does he have? He's a Nazir. Toyin giluach oisoi oy toyin giluach. What are we speaking about? Pirish tiglachas tuma b'yom sheyoytza v'yitayim. Because let's go through the protocol, the normal protocol. Let's say you're a nazir that's tahar. Yeah, you know that's tahar. What do you do? Let me. You have a chumash, about midbar, anything, any chumash, anything. Yeah. Okay. Great. You have a chumash. Good. Okay. I'll read the parsha to you. This is the parsha of Tumah. By midbar vav. Fellas, if a mace happens to this by accident, then pisay, v'timei roishay nizroi, v'gilach roishay b'yom tarasai, b'yom hashvi yigalchenu. So he's got to take a haircut, not for his naziris. He has to take a haircut to get rid of his tumah. U'b'yom hashmini yavish teisarim shtei b'nei yoina. He then brings the chatas and the oila. El Kayin, if us the Kayin, and he brings the Chatas, and then then he goes ahead and he starts again. So now here's the question. That's speaking about a Nazir that was Tahar and became Tameh. He has a tiklachas of Tumah. What about a Nazir? We're saying that according to everybody, he's a Nazir, right? He's going to get Malkus for Yayin, he's going to get Malkus for haircut, he's going to get Malkus for Tumah. Does he have to take a haircut for Tumah? That's the Gemara Shaila. Is the parsha of the haircut in Bamidva Vav limited to the Nazir that was Tahar and became Tameh? Or does it extend to the Nazir who was even Tameh? Look at Taisus, guys, Taisus. It's in, Taisus is Hagar. Toyin Giluach, ain't Toyin Giluach, Pirish. Tiglachas de Tumah. In other words, tells it's pashit that he would need to glachas the tahira. The nazir after 30 days, he's zicha gonna need. That's no shaila about that. I don't care when you are makabel your naziris. If you're a nazir, the day you finish your tahira, you're taking a haircut and putting it under the pot of the shlomim. There's no shaila about that. The whole shaila is since we see there's a distinction between a nazir that's makabel is naziris betuma and betaira, what's the halacha vis-a-vis haircut of tuma? Because again, he's going to have to go through the 7 days, right? Now it's really interesting. We said the shiv is oilam ikanu lakan, so he would take a haircut that day. He'd take a haircut day 7, right? He's not being kabbanis, and then you start counting. Okay. Anyway, so says let's finish Taisvis. B'yom sheyotze b'yitar mitumah the carbon. Now mitumah the carbon vade loy boy. Kitat nam masnisan. For the tumah of the carbon vade doesn't need. The miyat the kral l'kamon. Al b'tiglachas misafkele I boy legaleach b'loy carbon tumah. I lie. Loy boy giluach loy carbon. In other words, is the giluach gebunden in the carbon or not? Since the nazar that's tameh does not bring a carbon, who then that right? Who then not giluach? Or it's a separate thing, and he'll take a haircut despite the fact he doesn't make a carbon. Guys, you got the Shiloh? We got bobblehead going, or one more time? Okay, one more time. We have a case, we have two Nazirim. One that's Makabal Naziris, a Naziris B'Tahar, and it becomes Tameh. That's the classic. One that becomes Makabal Naziris B'Tumah. We know that the difference is that the one that's Makabal B'Tumah does not bring carbon as Tumah, the one that B'Tahar does. So now here's the question. Not only does he bring the carbon to me, he has to take a haircut. For that carbon, he takes the haircut. Question, I know he doesn't bring a carbon, but still does he have to take a haircut? Or no, is it the same, that the haircut is tied to the carbon? Once he doesn't bring a carbon, he doesn't take a haircut. That's the two sons of Shiloh.
We said he did something with the hair, he puts it under the...
That's B'Taira. That's after he's going to count Hilly 30 days, and then he's going to take... Then he's going to bring the kabbanis. Then he's going to cut his hair and throw it under the pot. We're talking about the tumah that I just read in the parsha after he's clean from tumas mace. No, there's two haircuts. There's a tiglachas tameya and a tiglachas tahoira. There's a tiglachas tameya. We're discussing the tiglachas tameya. There's no havamina that he shouldn't take the haircut of tahira. Why not? He's a full-fledged nazir. He's going to count 30 days, right? So that's the Shiloh over here. And that's going to take us to the end of the daf, guys. This Shiloh is going to take us to the end of the daf. Says the Gemara. Okay. Where am I up to? Toshma. Misha Nazir v'hu beis hakfaris. Afilu ha'yisham shloshim yoyim. Eino lo lamin aminyin. Ve'ena maybe carbon tuma. So now, the Havamina is we're going to be limited to carbon tuma. Carbon tuma hu delay maisi. Avil gilucha boy. Mashma, he does need to take a haircut, right? In other words, if that was a difference, you should have listed that. You listed that what? That the only thing is that you don't bring a carbon. If there was the difference of taking a haircut, it should have listed that. It says the Gemara, my tam kamar. Ma tam ena maybe carbon tuma. Mishum delay boy giluche. You know, it's bound, guys. In other words, I told you, maybe no. Once you said he doesn't bring a carbon, automatically you know he doesn't take a haircut, because taking a haircut for tumah is contingent upon bringing the carbon tumah. And once you bring the carbon tumah, you're not going to take a haircut. So therefore, it was unnecessary to state it. So you can't be pushed to the shiloh. Guys, I'll be good. I'll be good. I'm talking a lot, which I do every night, but I'm saying, a little straight more than half. Pashma. You would never. See, think about Daf Yomi. One of the Masechtas you would never open is Nazir. It's not Masechta. You'd open up. You just wouldn't open up Nazir. So that's why there's a certain geschmack in doing this. The Darim they learned in yeshiva, right? Why did we learn before the Darim? Yevamis. Right?
This is the
Right?
yes, he was a
Yeah.
You're looking for the check from the Shver.
he was a part of
I
it.
missed
He
that
sold-
part of my life. I never got that one.
Okay, so let's be patient to Shaila. Tashma. Ain bein tami shenazal and nazar tahar shenitma. Did we do this already? Ela tami shenazal shvi shaloi. No, we didn't do it. Shvi shaloi oilaloi min minyan. Seventh day counts because he doesn't have to mean karbanis. The nazar tahar shenitma ain't shvi shaloi oilaloi minyan because he has to mean karbanis next day. My lav ha l'tiglacha zev is shavin. But the Indian taking a haircut, they're equal, meaning they have to take a haircut. The only difference was whether the shvi is oil or not. But regarding bringing a haircut, you have to take a haircut. It says Malay, Holim Malchus ever is shavin. Regarding Malchus, they're equal. Right? Regarding Malchus, they're equal. They all get Malchus. Avatiglachas mai, zemegaleach, the one who's tahar and tamei brings the carbon, v'ze'ena megaleach, and the one that's tamei all along does not. Lisnaya, why don't you learn it? And guys, this is his tikkun. You can't tell me we learned the tikkun and we didn't want to learn the kilkel. This is a tikkun, correct? Because tiglachas is a tikkun. Says Gemara, Tani shviya shaloi v'chol mili. We learn shvi shaloi in everything. What? In everything about it. Look at the Taisus here. Tani shvi shaloi v'chol mili. V'kiman the tana shvi shaloi oiloi min aminyan. Once you tell me the second day does count, hainu mishum she'ena maybe carbon. It counts because you don't bring a carbon. When mili adina, once you don't bring a carbon, eina megaleach kivan eina maybe carbon. Good guys. Let's lattice. Good guys. So look at me. You just proved that in the case before that bringing a carbon and taking a haircut are together, correct? So now you're asking a shaila from shlishi, right? What's the difference? That the nazar that was tamei, he can start counting day 7. The nazar that's tahar cannot. He has to wait till day 8. So you're asking kasha. So learn that this one doesn't take a haircut, and this one does take a haircut. This one doesn't take a haircut. Why? Because he's not bringing a carbon. But this one does take a haircut because he does bring a carbon. Why does it bring a carbon? Because shvi shaloi ein elam minyan, and therefore it's all down the line. It goes one step down the line. It's geschmack, very geschmack. Okay, let's get interesting. Okay, fellas, outside, Yedia's time. There's 2 types of nazirim. Mitzayra. There's a mitzayra that's musker and a mitzayra that's muchlit. Mitzayra that's musker is one that we're not sure. The kohen puts him away for 7 days to see if the tzras grew or not. The one that's muchlit is chalata from Lashon Eris. He's okay. If he's a nazir and he contracts tumah, it doesn't override his naziris like tumas meis does. If he's tamei meis, if you keep 29 days, if even 30 days, we saw 30 days, you don't say mixliyam kakula, it's going to get tummy on the 30th day. You're finished. if you become a mitzvah on day 29, all you have to do is clean up your tzaras and then count one day, you'll be good. Good. To clean up your tzaras, what do you have to do? You have to go chutz l'machna. You take 2 birds and a high sap, kill one bird, another one, you put it on the guy, he takes a body shave. He waits 8 days. On the 8th day, he's going to take another body shave, and then he's going to bring 3 kabbanas. Good? So now, we want another following. Says the Gemara, Tashma. You want, again, what we want to be Pasha Shaila, does a nazir that's Tameh take a haircut of Tumah? Remember, keep your eye on the ball. Does another nazir that's Tameh, does he take a haircut of Tumah? Because nazir that's Tameh, meaning he accepted his Naziris B'Tumah. That's what we're discussing. And the Shaila is contingent upon, since he doesn't bring a carbon of Tumah, maybe why he doesn't take a haircut, maybe he does take a haircut nonetheless. Says the Gemara. Tashma. Ainli ella yimei tumasai shein oila loy min aminyan. Okay, now a nazir, his tumah does not count. You know why? Because the days are not oila min aminyan. Not only the days not oila min aminyan, they're uprooted completely. They're not there at all. Yimei chalutai minayin. How do you yimei chalutai? That what? That how do you yimei chalutai? I'll be trying to figure out over here. We'll see in a second. B'dinhu. Ma yimei tumasai migaleach umevi carbon. Yimei tumasai at the end of it. You're going to count. You're going to take a haircut and bring a carbon. After yimei chilutai, so too when you are a mitzayra migaleach umevi carbon, right? And uma yimei tumasai ein oila loy min aminyan. Just like if you're a nazir that becomes a tahir dika nazir that becomes tamei, those tamei dika days fall away and don't count. After yimei chilutai. Okay, so guys, we're making a amendment sinu, guys. Guys, look at me. We're making a amendment sinu between the mitzayra and the regular nazir. A nazir that's tamei, a regular nazir that's tamei, right? His days don't count, and he brings a carbon and it takes a haircut. So too a mitzayra, he's what? His days don't count, right? And you're tamei and you bring a carbon. So therefore, the chayra, it should not be oilam min aminyan. Says the Gemara, it should not, in other words, it shouldn't count, meaning that the days chiluta should not count min aminyan, which they don't. Says the Gemara, you can't learn enough from there. Lo yamamit be made to masai shecame mevatel behen sakoidmin. Lefikach ein oil min aminyan. Toima be made chiluta shein ispatel min aminyan. Lefikach oil min aminyan. Okay, outside. What did I just say? We want to know the following. We want to say, just like a nazir tamei, if he gets tamei, his days of naziris don't count towards the naziris. So too, the mitzayra, his days don't count towards the naziris. Why would that be? Because they're exactly the same. The nazir that's tamei, when he cleans up, is going to bring a carbon and take a haircut. The one that's mitzayra is also, he's tamei, he's going to clean up and take a haircut. And just like the nazir, his days don't count, so too the mitzayra, his days don't count. Says the Gemara, your corollary is not a good corollary. By a nazir that's tamei, it's not b'shat his days don't count. He doesn't have any days. They're uprooted completely. They're seiser. They're gone. Good, they may not count to the carbon, but they won't detract. In other words, if you kept 10 days before you became mitzayra, you'll only have to keep 20 on the back end. So therefore, the corollary is not the same. Elamah, we're going to come on a kal v'chomer to learn out the same din. We failed in a mem sinu. We're going to try in a kal v'chomer. Says the Gemara. Just the last line. Look, I would say, one more time. Let's read the Gemara one more time. That last part. Lo yimam v'mei tumasai by a nazir. What does it do, guys? It's mevatel all the previous days. You lose them completely. Lefikach, therefore, ein oil min aminyan. That's why they don't count. Taima, why will you say b'mei chilutai when he's a mitzayra? She'ena mevatel es hakoymin. They're not mevatel the koymin because you just go ahead and continue where we left off. Lefikach oil min aminyan. Maybe they do count. So I'll make a kal v'chomer that they don't count. No, it's a given that b'mei chilutai do not override. Only tuma override. It suspends it, but it doesn't uproot it. Only tuma uproots it. So that's a given. Uman nazir bekever, a nazir that went ahead, and he was in the Beis HaKfaris. He became a nazir in the Beis HaKfaris. Says sa'arai roy l'teglachas. This is very important. This is going to be raya. His hair is roy to be cut. Okay, this is our shaila, right? What's our shaila? Is the nazir in the guys? Is the nazir in the cemetery? You're going to take haircut after the tumah or not? So now, uman nazir bekever shesarei roy letaglachas. Ein oiloi min aminyan. It doesn't count towards his naziris. You may chiluto shein roy letaglachas. That's not roy for a haircut until the day it's over, like kol shekain shein loy min aminyan. Now, my love tiglachas tumah. So what do you see? That we place it the shaila guys, right? What's the lashon? That the nazir in the cemetery is roy tiglachas. Which tiglachas? The tumah, which is a shaila. And there's that clause. He's in the cemetery. Again, guys, don't get caught up in the limud. We want to extract one line from the limud. What's the limud? The limud is to learn out that mitzayra, the days don't count. Good. So you want kavachayna. Madach a nazir in the cemetery, whose hair is roy. It's in Oilin. Certainly, the mitzayra whose hair is not roy. You're going to cut it off. Ein Oilin doesn't count. That one clause. Why does it mean that the nazir's in the cemetery? That's roy tiglachas. Which tiglachas are you talking about? It must be tiglachas tumah. So you have a riot to your shaila that he has to take a haircut. That's what you want to do. Again, you only wanted that one clause. I wish you Rabbi told you that one day, right? Right. What?
Never did.
Anyway, the Rabbi today, I'm unbelievable. The Rabbi today did. I tell you, I'd be religious today. I'm telling you. Says the Gemara. It's unbelievable. I can't believe I'm saying this. Anyway, says posterity. Says the Gemara. My love tiglachas tumah. Says my loy tiglachas tyra. It's talking about it's roy for when. In other words, he doesn't take a haircut after his tumah. He's talking about taking a haircut after he's squeaky clean at the end, right? So in other words, madach he was right for it to keep his hair all the time can go ahead wide, and it doesn't count. Certainly, a person doesn't keep his hair all the time. In other words, there's a difference between the. All you have to do is make it. It's one pirach on the kavachayim hilly, and then you finish with your kavachayim. Says Mahachanami mistabra. I have a raya. These sakadai tiglachas tumah. If you're going to tell me tiglachas tumah, you may chiluta milay boy tiglachas. Fellas, guys, geshmak. Look at these. Geshmak is anything. If you make listen, you want to say nazir is more severe than mitzvah, correct? It's sorry. What was it predicated upon? That this nazir, he's royal tiglachas of Tyra, which is really chashiv, right? Right? And since he's right for that, and nonetheless his days don't count, certainly this guy who's royal tiglachas tumah, his days don't count. Says the Gemara, you have to say that's the pshat. Because if the nazir was speaking about tiglachas tumah, it'd be the exact same thing as the mitzvah. They're both tiglachas tumah. Why is the mitzvah guy's tzaras is a type of tumah? He's a chutz lamachne. He's an avat tumah. Mitzvah is an avat tumah. So geshmak, right? There'll be no difference. There'll be no kavachayim. They'll be equal. The kavachayim is predicated upon nazir being better. What would make it better if the naziris is naziris tyra? The tiglachas is tiglachas of tyra. But if you're going to tell me like you thought to be paishet your shaila that the tiglachas is a tiglachas of tumah, then what's the difference between nazir and Saira? They're both tiglachas tumah. They're both tiglachas tumah.
There is a custom that it applies to tumah space. Is the psukim are only talking about tumah space?
Mitzvah needs a tiglachas for a din of mitzvah, nothing to do with mace.
No, I'm saying, but how can you make a comparison? The Torah is
again. You want to know where you can. All we want to prove is from using an exegesis, right? We want to go ahead and prove that they both don't count. That's all. Now we know the nazir doesn't count. We're trying to find the source that the mitzvah doesn't count. I don't understand your question. Then I know that's all we're trying to do. We're not saying that now a nazir that's tamei is tamei. A mitzvah is tamei. If a nazir is tamei that's taking a haircut, mitzvah that's tamei is taking a haircut. It's the exact same thing. So what kind of kavachayim do you have? So it must be speaking that the nazir has no nazir of tumah, only tyra, and still it doesn't count. So certainly the mitzvah that has one, it should not count. That's the limit. Now I didn't understand your question. Okay. So now the Gemara says the following. So these it's Tiglachas tuma yemei chilutoi miloi boy tiglachas. After he's finished, doesn't he need a haircut? He takes a full body shave. So obviously they're the same. It says Moloi tiglachas the naziris katani. Right? We're learning tiglachas the naziris. What does that mean? Let's see. Taisvis loy tiglachas the tuma the naziris katani. Right? Here's one word. Here's the word tiglachas tuma the naziris katani. Kloima. Lo ilmei melacha tiglachas the tuma. Or maybe this could be weiter. Could be weiter? No. Oh, no, this is the right places. Guys, you want to say a raya that what? Guys, look at me. You want to say a raya that to prove that it must be speaking of niglachas of tahira, because if it's tumah, they're equal. And we're saying no, even if it's tumah of what, even if it's niglachas of tumah by naziris, it won't be equal. It won't be equal. And notice you still have the kavachayna. In other words, your raya is nishkan raya. Let's see Taisus. Like tiglachas tumah the naziris katani. Climb out. Tiglachas the tumah. It's tiglachas the tumah. Like you wanted to be poishet. Uda ka'armit. So they're the same thing. So where's the kavachaymer? Loy tiglachas the naziris katani. The nazir bekeva roy sa'aroi the tiglachas machmas naziris. It's a result of being a nazir. Ubi mechilutoi loy boy tiglachas the tuma machmas naziris el machmas saratoi. The different causes. One, you're taking a haircut for naziris, and one you're taking a haircut what for, and one you're taking a haircut for what for tzaras. Therefore, it won't be oila. Guys, outside. I could still have my kal v'chaymer, but your raya is nishkan raya. Let's go back to the kal v'chaymer. Let's go back to the kal v'chaymer. Madach, guys, madach naziris. That's roy. Naziris betuma. That's roy for tiglachas. It doesn't count. Yemechilutoi that has tiglachas. Einoidin that the day shouldn't count. Says the Gemara, it must be speaking, can't be speaking about Tuma, because it's speaking about Tuma, then they're the same. Says the Gemara, even if it's speaking about Tuma, it's not the same. What do we want to prove? We want to prove that the main Naziris don't count by Tzaras. Madach by Tuma of a Nazir. He's a Nazir. The reason he takes a haircut is because of his Naziris. And nonetheless, it doesn't count. By tzaras, where he's taking a haircut just for tzaras, it shouldn't count. So you want to be a raya that the haircut was of Tyra, the haircut could still be of Tuma, and you'd still have your kal v'chaymer intact. Let me put it in other words. We initially thought that Naziris has a chumrah that this doesn't have. What was the chumrah of Naziris? The chumrah of Naziris is that it's b'Tyra. It's b'Tyra. And therefore, since it's tar and nazir, it doesn't count, right? The nazir stage is going to take place the haircut at the end. Masha'en came, if it's tuma, right? It doesn't count. That was the kal v'chaymer. Madach, Tyra doesn't count. This doesn't count either. Says the Gemara. This can be speaking tuma also. This can also be speaking tuma. And so Gemara's kasher is if they're both being tuma, there's no kal v'chaymer. They're equal. This is tiglachas tuma. This is tiglachas tuma. Says the Gemara. Even if this is tiglachas tuma, you still have a kal v'chaymer. Why? Because this tiglachas tum is because the naziris and none doesn't count. This tiglachas tum is because tzaras, and therefore certainly it shouldn't count. That's the kal v'chaymer. Okay. We have